from the res life, big lessons for the world, dreaming big.
Hey everyone, my name is Delmar. Welcome to the Willie Cheez Education Channel. Here we explore all kinds of stories, ranging from native culture and history to education, money, and more. It's such a pleasure to be here with you and share another Willie Cheez story. You know, we all have our unique ways of learning, and for me, I love writing things down and then reading them back into stories. Stories have always been close to my heart, and today I've got one that I'm excited to share with you. This one is called Willie Cheez and the Truth About Public Education. Part 1. A Meeting with an Unlikely Teacher. Willie Cheez had always been curious about the world, especially when it came to understanding how things worked behind the scenes. One day, while visiting the local library, he stumbled upon an old, dusty book about the history of the American education system. As he flipped through the pages, he found a name that kept appearing, John D. Rockefeller. Intrigued, Willie decided to dig deeper. He mentioned his discovery to an elder in the community, who had a reputation for knowing the hidden truths of history. The elder, a man with sharp eyes and a mind full of stories, agreed to meet with Willie and share what he knew. "Willie," the elder began, "there's a lot about our education system that most people don't understand. You see, education wasn't always the way it is now. It was designed to serve a purpose, and that purpose isn't what most people think." Willie leaned in, eager to learn more. Part 2. The Origins of Public Education. The elder explained that the modern American public education system was heavily influenced by industrialists like John D. Rockefeller. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, as America was rapidly industrializing, there was a growing need for a large, disciplined workforce. The industrialists, who owned the factories and the railroads, realized that in order to maintain control and keep their businesses running smoothly, they needed a population that was educated just enough to follow instructions, but not too much to question the status quo. Rockefeller once said, "I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers," the elder recounted. And that's exactly what the education system was designed to create, a workforce, not a group of independent thinkers. The public school system was structured like a factory. Children were grouped by age, moved from one grade to the next at regular intervals, and taught the same standardized curriculum. The focus was on obedience, punctuality, and rote memorization, skills that were useful in a factory setting, but not necessarily in life. The system was designed to teach you just enough to be useful to the economy, the elder continued, but not enough to make you question it or think for yourself. Part 3. The Purpose of General Education. Willie began to see the connections between what he had experienced in school and what the elder was telling him. He remembered how much of his schooling felt repetitive, focused on memorizing facts rather than understanding deeper truths, and now it was starting to make sense. General education, the elder said, isn't about helping you achieve your dreams. It's about shaping you into a reliable worker. That's why schools focus on general knowledge, reading, writing, math, things that everyone needs to know, but not necessarily the things that will help you thrive as an entrepreneur or a creator. The elder explained that the system was designed to produce a population that could fit into the existing economic model, one where the majority of people worked for a wage, while a small elite controlled the wealth and resources. This system wasn't interested in teaching people how to build wealth or how to think independently, because that would threaten the established order. "Think about it, Willie," the elder said. "Why don't schools teach you about money? Why don't they teach you how to manage it, how to invest it, how to create it? Because if everyone knew how to do that, they wouldn't need to work for someone else. They could be their own boss, create their own wealth, and that would upset the balance of power." Part 4. The Role of Colleges and Universities. Willie was beginning to see a pattern. The more he learned, the more he realized that the entire education system, from elementary school to college, was part of the same design. Colleges and universities are part of this system too, the elder explained. They're marketed as the gateway to a better life, but what do they really do? They prepare you for a career, a job, and most of the time, they do it at a great cost, leaving students in debt for years, sometimes decades. The elder paused to let the weight of that statement sink in. Willie thought about the students he knew who had graduated college only to struggle with finding jobs and paying off their student loans. Colleges teach specialized skills, the elder continued, but they don't teach you how to be financially independent. They don't teach you how to build wealth. Instead, they encourage you to take on debt, promising that it's an investment in your future. But whose future are they really investing in? The banks that give out the loans, the corporations that need workers, and the elites who benefit from a population that's too busy paying off debt to question the system. Part 5. The connection to the government and banking system. Willie was silent as he absorbed the elder's words. It was starting to make sense now, the connections between education, government policies, and financial systems. It was all tied together. The government plays an important role in shaping this too, the elder said. They set the standards for education, regulate the schools, and often promote the idea that college is the key to success. At the same time, financial systems offer loans and credit, encouraging borrowing for things like education, homes, and everyday needs. The elder explained that financial tools like student loans, credit cards, and mortgages could lead to long-term debt. This often meant that people had to work hard to meet these financial commitments, which could sometimes limit their ability to explore new opportunities. It's all connected, Willie, the elder said. Education, government, and financial systems all influence the path people take. But by being aware of these influences, individuals can make informed choices and work toward building the life they want. Part 6. The Truth About Financial Education. Willie's mind was racing as he thought about everything he had learned. He had always wondered why financial education wasn't a bigger part of the school curriculum. Now he knew. They don't teach you about money in school because they don't want you to know, the elder said bluntly. If you knew how money really worked, how to save it, how to invest it, how to grow it, you wouldn't need the banks. You wouldn't need to work for someone else. You could create your own wealth, and that would threaten the entire system. The elder paused, looking at Willie with a serious expression. That's why it's so important to learn about money on your own, to seek out knowledge that isn't taught in schools, to understand that you have the power to take control of your own financial future if you're willing to learn and take action. Willie nodded, understanding the importance of what the elder was saying. He knew that he needed to take his education into his own hands, to learn about money, about entrepreneurship, about the things that would allow him to live life on his own terms. A new perspective. As Willie Cheez left the meeting with the elder, he felt a mix of emotions. Anger at the system that had kept so many people trapped, but also a sense of empowerment. He now understood the truth behind the education system and its connection to the government, the elites, and the banking system. But more importantly, he knew that he didn't have to accept it. Willie realized that he had the power to rise above the limitations placed on him by the system. By seeking out knowledge, by learning about money and how to create wealth, he could break free from the cycle that had trapped so many others. He knew that the journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to take control of his own future. As he walked away, he made a silent promise to himself, to never stop learning, to question everything, and to always strive for something greater than what the system had planned for him. And with that, Willie Cheez set out on a new path, a path that would lead him to true financial freedom, and a life lived on his own terms. And with that, we wrap up another Willie Cheez story. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Until next time, have an amazing day and enjoy every moment.
From the res life, big lessons for the world, dreaming big.